I know this is off topic, but we've decided to take a few minutes here to talk about Dawn of Justice. I will not talk about specific plot points. However, I will talk about some of the things that I didn't like in this movie without alluding to plot points.
Do it.
I will first of all say that as somebody who is a massive, massive Batman fan, as you know if you listen to this show, this is the least excited I have ever been for a Batman movie. Like, ever. Like, when I was a kid in grade 5 in 1989 when the Michael Keaton version came out, I was so desperate to see it. I remember it came out the week that school finished, but after a week I was going to Pakistan for 2 months with my family, and I had to see it. And I went twice to the theater, and it was sold out. And I was freaking out because I was like, I cannot leave on this vacation without seeing Batman. And then finally, the day before, my parents went to Yorkdale to buy stuff, and they made my brother and my sister take me to see Batman, and I finally saw it. Nice. And it was incredible. Even when Joel Schumacher made the terrible Batman and Robin movie, I was still like, it's a Batman movie. I'm excited. I want to go see it. Obviously, the Christopher Nolan ones, the games, you know. This one I was almost not excited at all. Like, I just was kind of like, all right, I'm going to go see it opening day. But
was it the Affleck? What was the non-appeal?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan of choosing Affleck, but I was also kind of resigned to giving him a shot and just being like, all right, let's see how he does. It's just like, I think a big part of it was I didn't like Man of Steel. Yeah. And this was picking up right where Man of Steel left off. So part of me was like, okay, I didn't like Man of Steel at all. Yep. And it's like everything's the same. Director's the same. They're picking up the story from there. And then I kind of knew, I didn't watch any of the trailers, but I knew what the story was going to be about. And I wasn't like a huge fan of what they were going to do with it. I read all the comics that the Batman Super. I didn't like it. So then the movie, I watched it on Friday. And in a one-word review, I'll say the movie was scattered. It was scattered. It was like all over the place. And that was my biggest problem with it. It was like they would start to go down one road and then another road and then another road and another road. And it's just like, what is happening here? I don't understand what's going on. And then so many of like the pivotal moments happen, but you don't understand why it's happening. And not as in like, it's a confusing plot, but you're just like, why are we doing this? I don't get it. Like, why is this? Even when like the sort of the culmination fight happens at the end, you're just like, they really don't need to be doing this right now. Like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, oh, all right, I guess, because we need to have a fight and whatever. The casting, honestly, wasn't a problem. I didn't mind Ben Affleck as Batman. Is he my favorite Batman? No. Was he a good Batman? He's all right. Yeah. You know, he wasn't the worst Batman. He wasn't George Clooney bad.
I was going to say, was he Clooney?
No, he wasn't Clooney bad. He was better than Kilmer. Wasn't as good as Christian Bale. Wasn't as good as Michael Keaton. So he's sort of like, you know, in there somewhere.
Middle of the road, yeah.
Yeah, he's all right. And I think part of the problem with this movie is they tried to cram so much in there.
Yeah.
For me, when you introduce a new Batman, either give him a separate movie to do the whole origin story.
And we don't need that again.
Or just put him in this movie without touching on it at all. We don't need to know that his parents were shot in an alley and that he was there when he buried and he fell and all that stuff. Don't do it. Just, he's Batman. We know he's Batman. He goes to Metropolis. He meets Clark Kent. We're off and running. Yeah. They futzed around with that stuff and it was too much. Yeah. And then there was just like, it just didn't have the feeling. Like Batman versus Superman is a like momentous, epic, like in the lore of superheroes, as great as the Marvel movies are with the Avengers and everything. When you hear that Batman is going to fight Superman and they're going to be in one movie, that's like a humongous thing. And it just, I didn't feel it. Yeah. I didn't feel it. I don't know. I won't say that this movie is terrible because it's not, but it's not very good either though. Yeah. It's not an awful movie.
Does it make you concerned for the 16,000 spin-offs that will be coming?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Somebody made a really good point to me when they were talking about the director Zack Snyder. They said when he's given specific source material, he makes a good movie. Watchmen, good movie. 300, good movie. But when he's given kind of like a loose kind of like make it about like these characters that exist but without a specific story to do it off of, it's not so good. So Man of Steel, not that good. Sucker Punch, not that good. This movie, not really good. So maybe he has a problem doing story. And then I was kind of sad when I was like, oh, who's directing the first Justice League movie? Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
I was like,
he promises it won't be as dark.
Hopefully. I mean, he is a decent director. So hopefully he knows how to do an action sequence. That much I'll give him. But I didn't love this movie. Yeah. I didn't hate it.
Would you even consider it falling on the gamut list of Batman films, or is it just a film that Batman is in?
It's just a movie that Batman's in. I mean, I guess when you look at Batman movies, I think like The Dark Knight is obviously number one. Yeah. All three Nolan movies are terrific. The first Michael Keaton movie was really good.
Fantastic.
You could say Batman Returns, also pretty good.
really dark and creepy. I just rewatched that recently, and
Very
I was
much
like,
so.
"Whoo, Tim Burton! How did you get away with this?"
Then the 2 Joel Schumacher movies were kind of terrible.
They were garbage.
Batman Forever was all right. Batman and Robin was awful.
It was
it was just horrendous. So this is better than the Schumacher ones, not better than the Burton ones.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely not better than the Nolan ones.
Yeah.
I think this is less of a Batman movie, just a movie that Batman is in.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about Suicide Squad, kind of switch off for a minute or skip forward.
Mm-hmm.
But he makes an appearance in Suicide Squad.
Yes.
So
if you live in the city and saw the many photos of them filming it down Young Street,
and they show that
one
scene where he's kind of like on top of the pink Joker car or whatever.
Exactly.
And so it's funny because I watched this movie with a whole bunch of family members, and my brother was like, "Oh, I hated the movie and I hated Ben Affleck as Batman, and I hope we never have to see that again." I was like, "You'll see that again in like 4 months when Suicide Squad comes out. Very soon you will see Ben Affleck again as Batman because it's coming up like a couple of months from now."
What do you think that this Affleck Batman is gonna do in Justice League, though? Because we obviously are going to have to see him again. He will now be what will be, I guess, the Iron Man of everything.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they definitely tried to make it darker, which is saying a lot for Batman because Batman's already a dark character.
I think it's a terrible way to go.
He was definitely a lot more angry in this movie.
I'm angry.
Yeah, basically. He was a lot more vengeful in this movie.
Well, he's older, right? I mean, Affleck's older, right?
Yeah, he's older. Well, he's older than any previous Batman, even though Christian Bale wasn't that much younger.
No, but he played a younger version of it.
Batman,
I think, I don't know how old Michael Keaton was. But
Keaton played kind of an older Batman, too, though.
But he's like mid-30s, technically.
I guess. This one, like, it picked up, like, right where Man of Steel left off, kind of, like, just,
yeah,
like,
you could
a
see
few
in that
months
first trailer, even in the first trailer, they showed the destruction of the Wayne Enterprises, and that is the fight that he's having with Zod from the first movie.
Right. Well, right off the top of this movie, they kind of...
Surprisingly, he kills a whole bunch of people in that giant, massive... When you take
my cousin, I was sitting next to my cousin Rima, and she said that at one point in the movie she looked over and I literally had my hands in the air, like as in like what the heck is going on? And she's like, Momo, you were just like you had your hands in the air, like you were so mad. And I was like, I guess I didn't even realize. Like I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So I'm still hopeful that this whole like I really like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Henry Cavill as Superman. I still think he's a good Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind Ben Affleck as Batman. Didn't love Jesse Eisenberg as Luthor.
I've heard a lot of bad things about Eisenberg as Luthor. And obviously Lex Luthor is such a quintessential character. He will obviously be a part of this franchise going forward.
It was a little weird. Number one, it was a little weird because Batman is older. Henry Cavill and Amy Adams are a little older, and then they cast Jesse Eisenberg, who
is noticeably younger.
Yeah, at least he seems
he's
like
a baby face looking actor as well.
And the other thing is, he played him more as the Joker and less as Lex Luthor. He played him more as like a crazy, maniacal, kind of insane guy, and less of like a ambitious, power hungry Lex Luthor, which is what you're used to. So I don't know. Last thing I'll say about Dawn of Justice: not enough Batmobile. Not enough Batmobile.
We'll go back and play that Batman game where
too much Batmobile.
All Batmobile.
Too much Batmobile.
And enjoy that.
And the second thing I will actually say is the climax at the end where they're all together and they're doing their stuff is actually pretty cool.
Okay.
It's actually pretty cool. When Wonder Woman comes in, it's pretty rad.